culture, entertainment, and the stories everyone's talking about. Get teed off, but never teed up! This is a Teed Off podcast.
All right, we have Amir Khan joining us here today. What's up, man? How are you?
So, I appreciate you for having me. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Let's get caught up, man, reacquainted in some ways, because I feel like I already kind of knew you last year about this time, frankly. But then I would say you kind of disappeared a little bit. Let's start back at the beginning. So you working with the McNeese State basketball program, Will Wade being the head coach, you caught fire doing, the walkout intros. How did that part get started? Was it just an idea? Was it the coaching staff? Was it players? Was it you? How did that go?
Yeah. So, when I first, my first year here at McNeese as a student manager, during our first game, our Dobo was Nick Flory. He was kind of telling us our game day roles and what we'd be doing. And he mentioned that one of us would have to carry the speaker for the pregame walkout. And I just kind of picked it up on the first game and just been holding it since then. And that's kind of how that started. The way it came about in the video was I just happened to know the song. The players didn't. They picked a song that they liked, that they knew, and I just happened to know it. So I started rapping it, and the players got hyped up, and that's kind of how that came to be.
Have you rapped before or done any kind of music type deal like that?
No, not really. To be honest, I think like I knew a few of the songs that they played, and like I'd probably like rap some of the lyrics before, but I think like that specific song I knew every word to. So I think that was like the first time where like, and that was one of my favorite songs. So like that was like
What
my
was
song
it?
too.
Do you remember what it was?
I do. It was "In and Out" by Ludfo.
Okay. So you just are like jiving with the song,
Mhm.
the boys from the team, I'm sure, are getting hyped, ready for the game.
Yeah.
But crazy enough, so this is a director of basketball operations idea. Like this is like an entrenched thing that they just wanted. And you said it was like brand new last year.
Well, I would say it's no, it's something that they've been doing. Obviously, the coach stuff at LSU or wherever I'm sure they've just like a manager just carries a speaker. They play a song, the one of the songs that they like before the game, and they'll walk out to it and they'll run out to the court. So I think that's something that's been going on for a while. I would say, the video was it was when I knew the songs, and they were hyped to see me that I knew the song. So I would say that's when that started me rapping the lyrics.
So after the first go with the rap and the
Mhm.
team obviously realizing you do this, there was
Yeah.
a period of time, and then next thing you know, boom, I'm sure it just goes viral and blows up somehow. Tell
Mhm.
me about that, man. What was that like? What was kind of the craziest things that happened with that? Maybe like somebody completely random that slid into an inbox on an Instagram or a Twitter or something like that.
Yeah. So uh, when it first started, the first video went viral. It was I didn't even know how to process it. It felt like a fever dream because I was seeing myself on being posted by several sports accounts that I follow, that I look at every single day. So I think it was just very I couldn't process it. I didn't know what was going on and everything. I was just trying to go along with it. And I would say the craziest, when the video first got posted, the craziest one was Antonio Brown. Seeing him repost the video, just because I look, I follow his Twitter, I see what he says, and he says a lot of interesting things. So I thought it was very funny to see what that he reposted my video. Obviously, ESPN, Barstool, it was crazy to see that they were reposting the video as well. I would say the craziest interaction I've had since everything has happened was meeting Chris Paul. And the way that came to be was I was at a soccer tournament in North Carolina this past summer. I was with the team there, walking them out with a speaker, just kind of being like a manager for them. And it's TST, so the soccer version for TBT. Chris Paul, he's heavily involved, you know, um, those tournaments. So they posted a video of me being at the tournament, and he reposted that on his Instagram, which I was freaking out because Chris Paul is one of my favorite players of all time. So I was able to meet him because he was there at one of the games. They set it up for me to meet him. So I would say that's the craziest, in-person experience I've had. I also was able to meet Shams, Sharania, and Summer League. I would say those are the craziest, you know, craziest people I've been able to meet. But I've been blessed to meet a lot of people that I didn't think I would, and been blessed to experience a lot of opportunities that I never could have imagined I'd be a part of.
Amir Khan joining us here, of course, the once viral manager for McNeese State basketball. But Will Wade, being the head coach at the time, got the new job opportunity and now currently over at NC State in North Carolina. And I'm assuming that's really how you ended up being at a soccer tournament and some of the things you just shared there.
Yeah.
So at the time, you came over to NC State as well for a clip. But what happened? To explain, kind of, you're back at McNeese State now?
Yeah. So yeah, I decided to transfer to NC State. I was thinking about it all summer. I was I was doing a lot of different things. So I decided that I would just, take the summer to kind of think about what I would do and where I would go. Um, yeah, it was very tough. I thought for a lot of it that I was going to stay at McNeese. Then I talked to a few of the coaches at NC State. Coach Wade called me himself and said he would love to have me here. And that meant a lot to me. I built a special relationship with Coach Wade. He's the reason I'm a manager because I'm such a huge fan of LSU basketball. He completely changed the program, and he came down to McNeese. So I had to work with him. So for him to be calling me and asking me, to come with him, I think that meant a lot to me, and that was ultimately the reason I decided to go. Um, and yeah, I was there for a few months. Just being a manager, just doing normal manager things. And the issue with mainly played a part in me transferring back was credits. A lot of credits that transfer over from McNeese to NC State. It pushed me back, to a sophomore, and I would have to,
Wow.
go 3 more years of undergrad. So I didn't think that's what I wanted to do. So, yeah, that ultimately led me, to reaching out back to this coaching staff and about me wanting to come back to McNeese, but I would say also just wanted to be back home, want to be part of McNeese. I love my time at NC State, and I love everyone involved with the program. They're my guys, and they always will be. But it just means a lot more to be a manager for McNeese because I lived in Lake Charles my whole life. I live 5 minutes away from campus. Uh, McNeese hasn't been to the NCAA tournament for a while before I started working. So for me to say that I was a part of the team that went to the tournament, back to back, and hopefully three straight times, it means a lot to me. And it'll always have a special place in my heart, more than any other school, to be honest. So that was a big part of me coming back, and just this coaching staff, the players over here. I was with them during the summer for a little bit, just in and out some of their practices. They let me be involved with the team for a little bit, and they really embraced me and they told me how much they love to have me here. So I think that all of that played a part, and me decided to come back home.
So I actually once used to be a manager, student assistant, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah,
at High Point University when
mhm,
I was a student there.
yeah,
And honestly, during my time, things were a lot different. There was no
yeah,
NIL. There was definitely less coverage sports wide, but even more so at High Point at the time. Um,
yeah,
I was just worried about messing up all the time. I just wanted to be like, honestly, a fly on the wall, like just don't even know I'm here kind of deal.
yeah,
And try to help as much as possible. I personally would never have imagined kind of being like a good luck charm or mascot, so to speak, like you ended up
yeah.
becoming. So in that process, there was different stories. Just straight up, did you get money offered to you? Was there any kind of NIL or reimbursement for you being just kind of a mascot, so to speak?
Yeah, so I would say there was definitely a lot of all of my NIL deals that I've had have been through, brands and basically like social media deals. So I'm not getting any money from the collective, nor have I ever asked any, the collectives to pay me NIL. I'm a student manager. I think the collective should just focus on paying student athletes, for the product that they provide. And I'm okay with just you know working off social media and using that for to help me build my platform. And a lot of my NIL deals have come through that, and really that's it. It's only been through social media deals, nothing to do with collectives.
But like that didn't play a role at NC State. Like there wasn't any kind of NIL disagreement there that said, "Nah, I gotta cut tail and run."
Absolutely not. I'm not. NIL is something that I feel blessed to be able to, just get any NIL deals. It's means a lot to me. Obviously, that's not something really any student managers get. So, but I will never use that, whatever anything that's happened to try to get money from a school. I will never do that. Obviously, I knew the coaching staff there, and I just really wanted to go with them because I thought that would be my best opportunity to get a GA spot. I'm to try to move up the ranks because I've worked with them over the last 2 years and they know, how I work. They know how much hours I put in. And they told me that themselves that they want me to be over there. And that was the only thing. I paid my way to go to NC State. I paid, for everything, for the move, for school, for everything. So NIL dispute, there wasn't. And I saw there was a tweet, and I thought it was funny because I know I know about the account before. I knew it was just a parody account, and I actually thought it was really funny. So to see it, but a lot of people didn't know that, So I got a lot of DMs, a lot of texts, like asking, like, "Oh, is this true?" But it definitely wasn't.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, one way or another, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't hate on you if there was promises made, and then it's like, well, I'm over here, and nothing, with that is happening.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here. Amir
Mhm.
Khan, current manager, now back at McNeese State. So you kind of answered one of my
Yeah.
questions there. I think you genuinely though want to be, I guess, a basketball coach at some point, or
Yeah, I would say, that's one of the, I'm still deciding about if I want to be a coach or if I want to work in sports media. Before being a manager, that was the goal. Being involved in sports media. Obviously, I watched Sports Center, ESPN, like all of the shows that they've had. Growing up, and every day I just turn them on to see what they're talking about. So I'd love to talk about sports for a living. I do that, 24/7 anyway. So to be able to do that for a living, it would mean a lot. And that was kind of the dream job before, but being involved over the last 2 years, even as a manager, I love the feeling of being involved with the team, and it's just been really fun. And I feel like I've learned a lot about coaching, way more than I knew before working as a manager. So I definitely want to. I want to be a GA. I feel like that's the next step. After graduating, go be a graduate assistant for coaching staff. Hopefully it's at McNeese. But any team that would take me, I'd be willing to work at. So I think that's the next step. Be a GA. Get my master's while also being a part of a college basketball staff. And then after that, we'll see what opportunities come from there. But I would say, either coaching or getting into the sports media would uh would be one of the two options that I'm pursuing.
all right. So you've popped back at McNeese State on a pretty good
Mhm.
run. The team is. Did you ever imagine a scenario where potentially you could end up facing Will Wade, NC State again?
Absolutely. I've talked about that a lot, and I've definitely thought about it with just my friends, and that would be surreal. I would say it's not something that I'm hoping happens, just because I'm hoping NC State makes a deep run into March, and I'm hoping if we're able to make a deep run into March. So I'm kind of hoping both of us also make a deep run into March. So it's not something that I want to happen, but if it happens, I think it would be, there's a lot of headlines there for Coach Wade, obviously, and just, he worked with Coach Armstrong at LSU, and there's just a lot of headlines there. So I think it would be definitely a great matchup.
Do you still keep in touch with Coach Wade or Kadir Copeland at all?
Yeah, I do. I haven't talked to them. So yeah, I haven't talked to them in a few weeks, but definitely want to. I'm gonna reach out and make sure everything's good. But I definitely have. I keep in touch with a few of the coaches at NC State. I don't want to bother Coach Way too much, or Quadir just too much, because I know it's a big stretch for them. It's a big stretch for us. But I'll definitely reach out back to them come off season and catch up with him.
All right. So last question for an older dude like me. I mean, I'm 37 now. I mean, some of the things that happen that catch people's attention and go viral, so to speak, and end up being a thing. Honestly, I'm behind. I don't even understand it or grasp it all the time. So for an old dude like me, explain it to me why you feel like Amir Khan's walkout with a speaker ends up being, a story, a thing.
I think that's a great question. I'm still trying to figure out the answer to that one myself. Why specifically me? I have no clue. I didn't post the video myself. I didn't know this video was gonna be posted. And so I was just, I didn't even when it got posted, I didn't expect it to be, huge story. And like it's become, I didn't expect it to be a big deal. I would say I believe the reason it got so big was just because the moment we were all it was completely genuine. They didn't know I knew the song and they were just so hyped, getting ready to play their game. And also like student managers don't really get much attention. Obviously, student managers, a lot of what they do is behind the scenes. And I'm completely like okay with it. I love, I wasn't trying to, steal the spotlight or anything. I love what I do behind the scenes. And, it allows me to be a part of a team. Otherwise, as much as I think I can, I can hoop a little bit, but I know I can't be a part of like, being on the team, playing in the games. And the only way to earn a spot in the coaching staff for me was to be a manager. So I love everything we do. I know how hard we work and how little of the spotlight we get. So I think because it was a video, it was just a cool moment, a genuine moment, and yeah, it was just obviously I think I stood out. I don't. I think I stood out because I'm not built like a player. I wouldn't say so. I think that's one of the reasons why it also went viral. But I'm just blessed to be able to be in a position and just everything that comes from it. It's amazing, and I'm blessed to be in the position. But
Amir Khan, man, I appreciate you taking the time, especially right here towards the end of the college basketball regular season. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye if McNeese goes on a run here, like we hope that they do. We'll be looking out for you because I'm sure folks will be ready to watch you do your thing again with the team behind you.
yeah, I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. But really, they should be watching what they do on the court because we have some special players. We have a special coaching staff, and I feel like we're gonna make some noise this March because of them.
Appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you, man.